Remember last week when we had a ton of topics?
Somehow we managed to make it through the full list.
Now we only have 7 topics. Because there's literally nothing going on. Or there's not literally nothing going on, but there's not that much going on, so... Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Magger from the iTunes Fanboy. And
my name is Alpha DeWolf.
oh, sorry for not introducing you, but we remember last week when we had a ton of topics?
Somehow we managed to make it through that whole list.
Now we only have 7 topics. Because there's literally nothing going on. Or there's not literally nothing going on, but there's not that much going on, so
Yeah.
I guess there's only one way to start the show, which is to get started for the first topic, which is the Idiot Award, which I don't recall who sent. I believe it was my Idiot Award nomination this time.
Let's see.
I'm scrolling through. Oh yeah, I got one. So this is on my video on how to distinguish every iPod Touch model. I almost forgot I made that video. And then this one guy commented, "You missed mine. The third generation 8GB iPod Nano 2007 in parentheses is highly regarded as a compact, durable mini classic. Mini classic is in quotation marks, with a 2-inch 320 by 240 screen capable of video playback. Users love its 24-hour audio battery life, bright display, and classic click wheel, though it is now a vintage device." I replied, "This video is about iPod Touches and not iPod Nanos," and now that I read that comment, I'm fairly confident it was AI generated.
Fair enough. Yeah. I would not be shocked if that were the case.
But yeah. Oh, and that's our only Idiot Award. So, unless you have any that you wouldn't share to a group chat.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure if I want to assign them Idiot Awards because I still haven't fully 100% confirmed this. But apparently, so many people are disagreeing with me about one particular topic I brought up in my Studio Display XDR video.
Oh, is it about how some older Apple Silicon Macs can't drive the one display at 120 hertz?
Yep. And I'm watching so many other videos to try to figure out what is the difference between my M1 Pro MacBook Pro and the M2 Pro MacBook Pro. Because everyone keeps telling me it's a hardware limitation. So I'm looking into it, and I can't find a single difference in the I/O other than the HDMI port was changed from HDMI 2.0 to HDMI 2.1.
I mean, I heard that was something to do with the chips, but you also watched Sales of Tech's video on that, so
Yeah, and he claimed it was I/O too, except I just don't believe it's I/O because, for one, my MacBook Pro, right here, these are Thunderbolt 4 ports. And something that is unique about these Thunderbolt 4 ports, I remember this from the keynote. These Thunderbolt 4 ports have their own individual controller. Unlike the last MacBook Pros with Thunderbolt 3, each side of the port shared each of the USB-C ports on the side of the laptop, they shared Thunderbolt controllers. It was 2 ports per controller. But with the Apple Silicon MacBook Pros, those have been upgraded to each port gets its own individual controller, which means there should be no excuse, bandwidth-wise, or any of that limitation, because the M2 MacBook Pro literally has the M2 Pro MacBook Pro, to be more precise. It's the exact same I/O. Thunderbolt 4. Each port gets its own controller.
Are you going to make a video on that?
I will once I'm finished with my research, but all of the general videos I'm finding out there, at least, it's not adding up.
Exactly.
I do not believe this is an I/O limitation. Because Thunderbolt 4 can handle 2 4Ks up to 60 hertz, 1 4K display. No, it's 1 8K display up to 60 hertz. Why can't it do 5K at 120? And again, M2 Pro MacBook Pro, fully capable of doing this, exact same I/O.
And don't say that these computers aren't capable of doing ProMotion, because their included displays are ProMotion.
Granted, it's not full 4K, but it's still high resolution display at 120 hertz. So, but yeah, to your point, that's a good point. Yeah, the chips are clearly capable of 120 hertz.
I mean, even the A10X can do it.
Yeah. So, this whole M2 Pro has better... Those MacBook Pros have a better I/O that's supported, while the M1 Pro does not. I ain't buying it. Because as far as I know, the I/O capabilities are identical. There are no changes in I/O between the two, except for the HDMI port. But the Studio Display XDR does not use the HDMI port. So, I gotta finally figure out what is going on, but as of right now, I fully believe that the reason why this cannot drive the Studio Display XDR at 120 hertz, I do fully believe it is software locked. Because all the research I'm doing right now is not proving everybody else's point. I'm still seeing the I/O is the exact same.
Exactly, but shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic? Speaking of MacBooks.
Oh yeah, you had something happen to one of your older MacBook Pros.
Yeah, so... I put it up the wrong way. Oops. So, this right here is the mid-2010 MacBook Pro that I've had since I got for Christmas back in 2020, and it feels a little bit light right now. And the trackpad also did bulge up a little bit, so still not to the point where it's really damaged. But so what happened was, I was meaning to grab my... Hang on, let me grab it. I was meaning to test out the dashboard widgets. I was meaning to grab my 15-inch mid-2012 Mac Pro, the one that works, except I forgot that I had to move them down here with my new cabinet. My new cabinet is literally not wide enough to hold 15-inch Mac Pros diagonally. But I digress. That's the point. But I grabbed this MacBook Pro, booted it up, noticed the battery wasn't charging. This is on Monday. Noticed the battery to prepare for my video the next day on how to get some dashboard widgets fixed. I booted up Monday and then saw that the battery wasn't charging, which I thought that was a little bit odd. because, for reference, I replaced the battery. I got the replacement battery for Christmas back in 2021. I replaced it sometime in 2022, early 2022. So the battery's only 4 years old, effectively. And then I noticed after the battery wasn't charging that the trackpad wasn't clicking. It felt like something was pressing up against it. And I knew that meant only one thing. So I performed some emergency surgery on this MacBook and discovered, I don't know what you can tell on this image of it, but on this, hang on, I might have to cut that part out because I accidentally have some personal images I might have accidentally shown. But this image probably doesn't show it fully that well, but this image does. That was already expanding. And luckily I got it out just in time to not cause any damage. But the problem is that with these cheap MacBook batteries, all the batteries they make are cheap Chinese crap, and I'm sorry, iFixit batteries do not perform well. As I've heard horrible things about their batteries, and their replacement rubber feet that I paid twice as much for on this MacBook they're on, but the one of them I had to fall off, so I had to glue that back on. So yeah, the iFixit parts are not good quality. So I did get another cheap Chinese battery for this because that's all they make these days. So last time I did not calibrate it, so because it wasn't my main MacBook, so I didn't think it would matter that much. But this time I will calibrate it just to make sure that it's going to be fine. But yeah, batteries are not, especially in these old MacBooks. I mean, granted it's a collection device, so it's not like it matters that much. But had I not gotten it out that day, it could have been so badly damaged. Because it's a collection device, I hardly touch.
It started a fire too.
Expand batteries actually can't start fires unless they actively have a charge in them, unless you actively plug them in. So, like, having an expanding battery in the house, as long as it's not actually if it's not on, then it's fine. I mean, still ideally you should get out, but yeah, no, that's just, I mean, they're low quality batteries. Like, they should try to make some higher quality batteries, but they just don't. So, but I mean, batteries are.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this MacBook Pro because I know the batteries come totally shot in this. It only powers on if you plug it in.
Just replaces. The original Unibody MacBook Pro batteries don't really expand. I've never really seen many reports of them expanding.
Well, trackpad still clicks, so I guess that's a good sign. But no, yeah, the battery in this MacBook Pro is just shot. It's toast.
So, yeah, I mean, nah.
The thing is, I don't know what to do with it because my sister stopped using it due to macOS High Sierra being so old it's hard to use. Due to software support. And even then, it's still running its slow hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM.
And the cost to upgrade that is, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, not worth it right now.
Yeah,
Actually, DDR3 is not that horrible, but it's still...
It's more expensive than it was. And SSDs are still just as absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem.
Luckily, my 2010 MacBook Pro has 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 400 gigabyte solid state drive. That was initially intended for my other mid-2012 MacBook Pro, but that one quit working, so completely. Like, the logic board died in that, so... That was the MacBook Pro that I could never get above macOS High Sierra. Or, no, macOS Sierra. Even though the 2012 natively supports up to Catalina.
As crazy as that was.
Most Macs from 2012 natively support macOS Catalina.
Oh, they felt, at least ones of that vintage, like, iSoftware patched my 2011 MacBook Pro to Catalina for a short time, but Oh, it did not like it at all. It really did not like it.
You have to have the upgraded RAM and solid state drive in order to even consider patching. Like, it's just not. Like, my 2010 MacBook Pro, it runs fine on the Catalina side. Granted, it's obviously not as fast as a modern Mac. It's obviously not going to be that fast, but it runs just as. It runs okay, but then I have a snow leopard partition on that thing, and that thing, especially with the 16 gigabytes of RAM, it just flies on Snow Leopard. Like, I initially installed a Snow Leopard partition on it because I bought a sealed Snow Leopard DVD that was originally going to install my 2006 MacBook Pro, but that died and I no longer had that computer, so I had to install it on something, and so I did it on my 2010. Yeah, boy, that thing just flies on Snow Leopard. So I never got rid of that partition.
Yeah, I mean, my 09 iMac is currently running Catalina, even though it shouldn't be, but ever since I swapped the hard drive for the SSD, wow, does it make a difference?
I mean, to be fair, most of the Macs that natively support Catalina, they had like 8 gigabytes of RAM, 16, and then an SSD. Most of the SSDs natively most of the times. I mean, their Intel chips were obviously better, but I mean, they're old Intel CPUs. Like they.
Yeah. Yep.
Shall I go ahead and move on to our next topic, though?
Sure.
So I
forget this time of year we tend to get new emojis in iOS.
Yeah, that's been a tradition since at least iOS 9, but iOS 26.4 beta has new emojis. So
what might they be this time?
I honestly don't remember any of them. Like, I mean, I sort of remember them, but they're not as bad as the pregnant man emoji, although I'm pretty sure it's intended to represent a pregnant woman with really short hair, but still, it's not as funny as that one, but it's not. But let me look up the iOS 26.4 emojis. Image. So there's just 8 new emojis coming this time. So there's an emoji for whatever this is. For reference, I have one of my legs out. Like whatever this activity is called. Yeah, there's an emoji for that.
Okay. Not sure why that's important.
There's a bulging eyes emoji that looks. Are you aware of what a 0.5 photo is?
Isn't that photo taken with the ultra wide or?
No, what a 0.5 photo is, according to Hip Trends, is a 0.5 photo is a photo that you take like. I'm not doing it right, but at kind of like this angle.
That sounds stupid.
It is stupid, don't worry. But yeah, it's kind of like got that kind of look to it. A brain exploding with atom rings around it.
Uh-huh.
A gorilla. Actually, okay. To be fair, that should have been there for a while. Rocks. Again, that makes sense. I think that's supposed to be a whale. It's one of those types of sea ant creatures. I think that's a trumpet. And then a treasure chest filled with gold.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, nothing really noteworthy.
Yeah, I don't think I'll use any. I don't really use emojis that much anyway.
They're just for silly texting, in my opinion.
Yeah. But, shall we move on to our next topic? Speaking of stupid things.
Oh, goodness. Justin Long is being brought up again. What was he hired to do this time?
They got Justin Long and John Hodgman from the Get Mac ads to do it.
What?
Yeah, and for reference, John Hodgman, he is an actor, but he's also more of an author and humorist type guy, so he's not, acting isn't even, acting is one of his jobs, but they are now doing I'm Ozempic versus competing that type of drug ads on TikTok.
Oh, gosh. I can't believe they both agreed to that.
Forever. First of all, do not take those types of drugs.
Waste of talent.
First of all, do not take those types of drugs because they are not, you lose weight with those, but they take out all the weight from they take out all the actual body weight that you need. Like, they take out weight from parts where you really should not be losing weight. So, yeah. Yeah, but that's...
What a waste of talent.
I know. Why can't... Especially because this year is the 20-year anniversary of the original Get Mac ad campaign. Why don't they just... Why doesn't Apple just, I don't know, bring them back to do another Get Mac ad campaign?
That would be awesome. I mean, they brought Mr. PC back for when they did the Apple Silicon launch.
Yeah, John Hodgman was a PC. Yeah, because that would be honestly such a great... Because they could really hammer on Windows now.
Oh. I am so tempted to recreate those ads again. And just update them for the time.
Yeah, those ads were so good. It's just that a lot of them still are relevant today. And in fact,
That's the thing. They're also still relevant.
I've been contemplating either rewatching the Get Mac ads or else just rewatching my reactions to them. But I have rewatched all my reactions except for the one that I did to 08 ads that I didn't do correctly, record correctly, so I haven't rewatched that really. But the ones I did from 06, 07, and 09, I rewatched my reaction videos of those, and so I don't know if I want to rewatch them again or not, because those ads are so good, but at the same time I've seen them before. Like, I could be watching some new content instead, but...
Yeah. That's unfortunate that such great talent is being wasted.
On TikTok ads, mind you, but shall I go ahead and move on to our
Yes.
next topic of bad news?
The AirDrop. At this point, I'm now wondering if Apple's just opening it up with what's been going on.
So for reference, the Pixel 10 already had Google stole Apple's proprietary AirDrop code for the Pixel 10 and decided to add AirDrop to that phone, and they're doing the same. And now, AirDrop support is apparently coming to Oppo phones later this month, and Apple still is doing nothing to stop it. The Apple I used to know, especially during the Get Mac ads, would have shut this down instantly with Google saying nothing about a second company doing this, because this is becoming such a big problem that you think surely it would have to get on Apple's radar that other companies are stealing your proprietary code, because it doesn't matter whether AirDrop should be open or not. Apple chose not to make it open, and they're stealing proprietary code. Stealing proprietary code is a form of theft, which is, well, technically Oppo can get away with it since they're a Chinese company and because they don't recognize Western copyright. So technically Oppo can get away with it, but it's still not ethical. Although Google, of course, cannot get away with it because they're an American company, but Apple just hasn't sued them yet.
Yeah, really shocked that AirDrop on Android is expanding.
Illegitimately, mind you, but
And honestly, I'm now kind of torn on whether it should be opened up or not.
I mean, on one hand, it would be cool to be able to exchange files in between phones or not, but this is not the way it should be done.
You're right, absolutely right. As much as I like it to be available on Android devices, primarily because my family uses Android, my boss uses Android, it would just make sharing files and getting crap done so much easier instead of having to pray that we have good cell service and internet all the time. We're standing right next to each other. Why can't we just do it? And that's why I'm leaning on ethical concerns aside of how it's being done right now. I'm leaning on I kind of like the idea of AirDrop opening it up to Android devices.
Yeah, but this is just, I mean, none of my family really uses Android, and I don't even AirDrop really much to my family anyway, but we do. But I usually only AirDrop between my own devices, so it's not like none of my family uses Android anyway, so I don't. So I might not, so I'm not. So I mean, I still think that maybe it's a good idea bringing AirDrop to Android, but at the same time, though, it's still AirDrop is one of Apple's features, and it's there. It should be under their control to decide how it gets implemented, not under
Yes.
Google's. Like other firms shouldn't be allowed to steal Apple's proprietary code. But before I go on to this in other episodes, shall we move on to our next topic that is just pure idiocy?
What the heck?
So Meta is acquiring Moldbook.
What?
Which is a social platform designed exclusively for AI bots. I know lots of problems with this.
More crap exactly nobody asked for.
Yeah, exactly. It's AI bots to flood Meta servers, so that's just not. So it's just not great. So that's just like we don't want more AI crap on our social media pages, but also the point that I want to bring up is that Meta's platform design exclusively for AI bots basically already exists because that's basically what Facebook has become.
Yeah, at this point.
Instagram start partially
Maybe that's
too.
why I'm having such a hard time selling those iMacs over there. Everyone must think I'm a bot or something.
There are so many scammers on Facebook Marketplace, so.
True.
But yeah, that's. Hopefully, you'll be able to get your 2024 iMac sold, but no, your 20. Yeah, it's a 2024, right?
Yeah, it came out 2024. I just bought it in 2025.
Yeah, no one ever uses assigns years really to MacBooks anymore, except for Apple themselves. I just don't. I still prefer to do the years to keep it more in uniform of how Intel Macs did it, but.
Well, that's because Apple was so inconsistent on when they'd update the chips in the Intel MacBooks, but they've been a lot more consistent as of late.
Yeah, but still, I could still find it easier just to say like 2021 MacBook Pro, early 2023 MacBook Pro, or late 2023 MacBook Pro, etc., etc. But that's aside the point. But do we have anything more to say about Meta acquiring Moldbook other than this is stupid, or shall I move on to our next topic that Alpha added?
Our next topic is actually kind of insane.
I know nothing about this, so please explain.
So, everybody knows how Nintendo just loves to sue the ever-living snot out of people who does the slightest thing they don't like, right?
Yep.
So, well, it turns out Donald Trump and the Trump administration did something that Nintendo did not like. So Nintendo's going to sue the entire Trump administration, aka the USA.
What the Trump administration did Nintendo doesn't like?
Tariffs. The tariffs made Nintendo products look a lot less desirable because nobody wanted to pay 100% tariffs on, well, Chinese manufactured stuff. Because let's be real, Nintendo makes their products in China. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, they do.
I highly doubt Japan is making them. So, yeah. Nintendo didn't like that. So what was their rational opinion on what to do about the situation? Was their rational idea, okay, the U.S. wants stuff made in their country, so why don't we invest in making our products?
It's made in Vietnam, actually. The Switch 2 is made in Vietnam. Yeah.
Well, Vietnam got hit pretty hard by the tariffs, too.
Because I was about to say, Japanese companies really do not like China, so...
Yeah, but no. Nonetheless, Nintendo wasn't really a fan of all the tariff stuff. So their rational decision, instead of
making their console,
okay, let's just
making their console look more appealing, maybe.
Or start manufacturing them in the U.S. if that's the case. No, their decision was just sue the government.
That's not going to work.
I'm trying to figure out who the judge is supposed to be. Because the judge is obviously going to be biased.
Yeah, that's another problem you get. Like with these high-profile cases, contrary to what the U.S. Constitution states about everyone has a right to trial by an impartial jury, you're not getting an impartial jury with this case. That's just not happening.
They're coming to U.S. court. They're coming to U.S. court to say, you all suck! How are they expecting this to... And their demands are quite insane.
Please.
As well. What they want in compensation because of the tariffs... is to be refunded all that money that was lost due to the tariffs.
They don't legally have to do that. Nintendo doesn't legally have to do that. Or that doesn't legally have to happen, so...
That's what they want, though. They want all of the money that was lost due to tariffs. Oh, and attorney's fees to be paid for. Here comes the crazy part. Even though I see it very hard for a trial like this to go about because you're effectively suing the court itself. A court is where a lawsuit is supposed to happen, but you are suing the very court that is handling this exact lawsuit. So I'm confused on how that works.
You're not technically suing the court. They're suing the executive branch, whereas the judicial... So, you know our government's split into 3 branches, right?
Yeah, I know that.
So, Nintendo's suing the executive branch, and the judicial branch is the one branch that handles courts.
I'm trying to remember if there were any judges on the list, because they were actually legitimately calling out people they were suing. I don't recall if any judges were on the list, but they were calling out people in the executive. They were calling out people in Congress, I believe.
That's legislative, yeah.
So it's all over. But to my knowledge, even if somehow they were to miraculously win this bizarre trial they've set up, here comes the scary part. Who do you think's paying all the expenses?
We are.
The taxpayer.
Well, at least we have something to be. I mean, at least hopefully enough judges will realize that this is ridiculous and will not and will luckily dismiss it.
There
But
is one ground though that they do have, that I'm not entirely sure how much this relates to the tariff situation and all that. I just know that for the most part, Trump has not done everything legally in terms of establishing the finances. Particularly, if I recall, I believe Congress is the one who's supposed to manage the budget, the government's budget,
actually,
and Trump divvied into that.
actually the exec. No, it's the executive branch that sets the budget.
I think he's the one who's supposed to approve it.
Yeah, so that's yeah, so it's how yeah, so effectively that's how it works. But I guess I should. One thing that I think a lot of people are going to bring up is whether the in just a in a lot. I don't know how quite. I'm wondering if Nintendo is do. I have a feeling that Nintendo is doing this because the Supreme Court ruled that Trump's tariffs are illegal, even though that is almost that's likely bogus because the executive branch does because the legislative branch can grant the executive branch the authority to change tariffs in times of high needs. So, like in times of trade wars, so they can't.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a complicated situation, and I'm not a politics expert at all, but it's a messy situation. So, but yeah, I found that story very interesting. That they are legitimately trying to sue the U.S. government. Except I really don't know how well that's going to work because, I mean, on one hand, I hate to bring this example up, but it's kind of like what Spotify attempted to argue in that one ad about how Apple is playing the game, but they're the referee too. I feel like that's what Nintendo's trying to. I don't know. It's just I'm getting It just reminded me of when Spotify tried to bring up, oh yeah, Apple's playing the game too with their music streaming service, but they're the referee too because they're giving their streaming service a competitive advantage. I have no idea what's going to happen. This is just such a mess. All I know is that a lot of lawyers are going to be getting paid.
For an ultimately dumb lawsuit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Yeah, and then a lot of companies are upset over tariffs and the financial instability about that, but I don't know if you can sue the government over that. But I mean, also in part, Trump won the election. This is what the majority of the U.S. wanted. So take that for what you will, I guess.
Yeah.
I hate politics. I really do.
I'm kind of surprised you even had this
It's
topic
so
in.
hard to watch a few. Yeah, it's been so hard to watch a few YouTubers lately because of
Oh, I know. Like I unsubscribed to Luke Miani after he made that video.
I still watch his content primarily for the information, not because I like Luke.
Oh yeah. I just never to be honest, I never found his. To be honest, Luke Miani, even before I unsubscribed to him, like I didn't watch his videos that often anyway, so unsubscribing was not. So unsubscribing was very easy for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one I'm still subscribed to, though, that really put me off. Just because of how... Dude, when Alec gets mad, he is pissed.
Oh. What is he mad about now? Because
I don't think he's uploaded since that video.
Since what video? I'm trying to...
You didn't watch his solar panel video? What he sneaked in at the end of it?
No, that video was like an hour long, so I don't have any time. I don't have time. I don't have that much time to watch YouTube, so yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
No, I watched the whole thing.
Oh no. Oh no. Wait, I think I watched maybe part of it. I don't. Let me look and see if I watched any of it, because I have a feeling I might have watched part of it.
It's the last roughly half an hour where he really goes unhinged.
Oh. Technology connection. I have not watched that at all. He hasn't uploaded in a month!
I told you he hasn't that was his last video. He hasn't uploaded since then.
No. I think I know exactly what he did. I don't even need to...
It was interesting. I'll put it at that. And for those of you who did not watch that video or have no idea what we're talking about, yes, Mr. Alec Watson of Technology Connections let his politics loose. And I'll just say, because he lives in Chicago, I was not surprised.
Yeah. Honestly, that's not honest. I mean, the way he leans, that's not on. The biggest clue that actually made me not surprised was the fact that he put his pronouns on his profile picture, since he put his pronouns there. Since to be honest, I hate admitting this, but the majority of hardcore liberals are women. I'll just put it at that.
I don't know. And I genuinely don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, that's... But yeah, no,
And I just want to be clear, in case anybody's thinking, oh, I am so anti-liberal and all that, you're far from the truth. I am anti-politics, period. I do not fully support either liberals or Republicans.
Same.
I'm going to be that clear. And it's just a shame that Luke and Alec, and I am not surprised because Luke, he's lived in DC for most of his life, though now he lives in LA, which is already a telltale sign that, and Alec, yeah, it makes sense that they have very strong left-leaning opinions, and I can understand why they feel frustrated. But at the same time, I know it's delusional. It's gotten delusional. And while you can argue... some people can even argue that Republicans are a bit delusional too, and I can definitely agree with that because, for one, if you watch the beginning of Alec's video, he makes a very great point about solar panels that I 100% agree with.
Yeah, exactly. Both sides can be delusional. I mean, of course, I do not believe that. Of course, I strongly believe that Luke Miani got bought out when he made that video.
I'm just going to say it here. I strongly disagree with that video.
With my videos about the saying he got bought out.
I've been meaning to tell this to you for a while. I just haven't really figured out how to say it. And you can cut this part out if you want. I don't really care. Or leave it in. I don't care. But it's just in general, I really did not think those were great videos.
Yes. To be honest, I was kind of out of video ideas. And I just kind of wanted to... I just wanted to make people aware of the fact that this is going on, since I'm like, okay, if Luke Miani does this, and because I was worried, like, if Luke Miani does this, then who's next?
Turns out it was Alec.
Yeah.
Because Alec uploaded his like a week later.
Yeah, like he was.
But
yeah, to be honest,
in general, I understand their frustration, because on one hand, my values tend to mostly lean towards the conservative side.
Same.
I'll just say that much. My values tend to lean a little more conservative, so I often appear more conservative. But I do have some liberal values as well, primarily in the energy front. That is the one scenario where I do disagree strongly with a lot of Republicans. It's the energy and just energy in general. I think they are handling it very wrong. Because here's a controversial take on that. I think we need both oil and the renewables, as that's how they're branded.
Well, here's my hot take. We need neither. We need nuclear power.
I think nuclear makes sense for the cities, but if you ask me, and the way that I prefer my energy, I prefer to just generate it myself and not rely on anybody else. Maybe that's the famous Midwesterner that Alec, he loves that car. Alec loves pulling that car down. Maybe that's just the Midwesterner in me doing it myself.
No, you're not the. I mean, if we can get nuclear technology to be possible for ourselves to do it, then yeah, totally. But I guess I should have clarified that part, since at the end of the day, I want to be off the grid when it comes to power, when I'm a grown up, I'm gonna have so many monthly expenses. Like, I'm gonna have food, water. I still gotta pay the water bill, and so it would just be still got.
Not if you dig a well. We don't have a water bill at this house because we have a well.
Okay, then maybe I'll have to consider. Yeah, I might actually consider digging a well. Then maybe not a water bill, but then so it'd be nice if I could cut out one more monthly bill, so that way it's not a permanent expense. The problem is that I can't be certain about my income in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
And like, this is the big pitch I have. A lot of people, Republicans in particular, a lot of people tend to think that when it comes to a solar array on your house and your electric car, a lot of people will think you're crazy, stupid with the whole save the environment type of thing.
Oh no.
That's how it's mostly branded as. But here's the value I see that Republicans for the most part refuse to see. The value I see is I am no longer dependent on somebody else to provide my energy for my house. And now that electric cars are a thing, I now no longer have to depend on somebody else to drive my car. As of right now, due to certain worldly situations across the seas, I'm sure we've all felt a few price hikes in the fuel department lately.
Yep.
It's up to $3.80 a gallon right here, right now.
Up in my area, it hasn't gone up. It hasn't gone up that much, but it's gone. It's like at 240 something. It's like at around 250.
Oh gosh, that's where it was previously here. But yeah, But the thing is, there's nothing I can do. Where else am I going to get fuel for my car? But with an electric car and the solar setup, you don't depend on whatever's going on across the world for oil or whatever the power plant decides to do to charge for electricity or deal with any of their outages for some issue.
Exactly, because the big pro of generating your own power is that like, let's say there's an ice storm that comes through. You don't have to wait for the power to come back on because you'll always have power.
As long as your own personal system is holding up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the equipment to durable at this point. And then for sometimes a lot of the fuel is trucked. Trucks can have breakdowns. Trucks can have accidents. Roads can be closed.
And furthermore,
it's a common problem up here, as you might imagine.
And the problem with trucks is that trucks are also the most likely to combust too. There's that too.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I love about solar panels and electric cars. I no longer need to depend on anybody else to power my house and to travel, well, at least in my own bubble. If I leave my range bubble, then yeah, I'm obviously going to depend on someone else for my energy because I won't be able to get home. But nonetheless, at least for normal day-to-day life, I am not dependent on anybody else for my energy.
And if your income,
and that is something I just wish Republicans could understand.
And if your income decreases, then boom. Those aren't expenses that you have to worry about. You can worry about taking care of other expensive. You can take care of other expenses first, and you won't be hit quite as badly.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too. I'll bring this up from Alex's video because this was the whole point of it. Actually, we spend how much money searching for oil, digging it up, and refining it, and then shipping it. We spend so much time, money, and work for this substance we only use once. Because once you use it, you have to go find more of it. You have to go get more. But with solar panels and windmills,
Although
I'm more interested in solar.
Yeah, I hate windmills, personally.
Yeah. I'm personally more interested in solar. But with solar in particular, you only spend the money to build the panel and a battery for storage. And once that's it, once that money is spent to build the panel and the battery, and the inverter, I guess, too, but the details. Once you get the whole system built, you can use it for years and years. Actually, at this point, with how technology has progressed, decades. Instead of, go to the gas station, and once your tank is empty, you gotta go get more. Again.
Do solar panels usually give off warning signs of failure?
Well, you'll find it. Your inverter will start reporting, hey, there's a weird voltage sag or whatever, something like. I don't know the exact details, but it's kind of obvious to tell when solar panels are failing.
So you'll still have some time to get some new panels installed.
Yeah. And it's not like they're all going to fail at once. Most arrays at houses, it's made up of multiple panels. So if one panel fails, well, you still got a bunch others. You'll just be a little limited on power capacity.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be good. Now, granted, windmills I'm not a fan of because, well, first of all, usually windmills are not very practical to put in your own yard, but they also kill thousands of birds and bats every year. And they require oil to build too.
Yeah, but then there's also the fact that they're just not really being handled properly at all in terms of service. Like, why is it the blades have to retire after a very short amount of time and then just get thrown out? That's wasteful to me. Versus solar panels, for the most part, solar panels these days can actually be repaired in the same way batteries can. They can be recycled. Bet nobody saw that card.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it does frustrate me that Republicans are behind on energy in this category, because they are also drill baby drill, and yet while we still need oil for other things aside from gas for our cars,
like plastic.
we need it. Yeah, we need it for plastics. We need it for lubricants, coolants as well. We need oil for other things, and yet why are we just burning it? That's my. I feel like we're just wasting it, and that is one thing about me that I hope I'd make very clear. I hate wasting stuff. That is why this room is always filled with so much junk. It's because I can't throw it out, and I hate wasting stuff. That, and I'm sentimental. But it's also why I'm very frustrated with the state's recycling program. Michigan has a horrible recycling program to the point where you're literally disincentivized to recycle, period. It's infuriating.
Well, a lot of times recycling plants don't even really recycle anything. Like they just put stuff in other places.
Yeah, it's absolutely
like it's why I don't ever recycle. Like it's why I still throw batteries away in trash cans, even though I know you think I'm crazy for that.
You really should not be doing that. Otherwise, you might get a situation that our business experienced a year ago or so.
Yeah.
So it's not fun. But so yeah, on one hand, I do agree with the left in that regards. I hate how we're handling our energy right now. But at the same time,
that's not what liberals care about anymore.
Everything else about them, I cannot stand. Just
liberals don't even really care about energy really that much anymore. Like they're all focused on all their other nonsense. That's honestly doesn't matter that much.
Well, in one sense, it does, but it doesn't relate to tech. Energy relates to tech because energy is what powers tech.
Exactly, but we're out of topics, by the way.
Yeah, we're only an hour in, and we were already out of topics.
Usually we don't have weeks this dry in topics in March.
Well, the problem is we got through it. I mean, there's nothing to noteworthy about the S26s because Samsung is really lacking in the.
Well, we already covered that anyway.
Yeah, all I'm seeing right now are mostly MacBook Neo reviews and hands-on and like legitimate performance testing and all that, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. We talked about Luke Miani. I was actually right before the show watching his video on comparing the MacBook Neo to the M1 MacBook Air, the M2 MacBook Air, and the M4 MacBook Air.
But I mean, yeah, I haven't found those that interesting. But to be honest, I just don't care because the MacBook Neo is not for me. Like it's like I know a MacBook Neo is going to be good for average Joe tasks, average Joe tasks at home, or else education tasks, and that's really it. So why should Like, no one who buys a MacBook Neo really cares about its performance.
Yeah, although I did find it interesting in Marquez's review. He actually gave a he actually used a grading system for in different laptop use cases, like we're video editors or music producers or photographers, writers. He actually came up with a whole grading scale based on those metrics on whether he can recommend the Neo or not. I mean, and here's basically what the list boils down to. The first obvious one, K through 12, obvious education. Same for college. And then he actually made a category for grandma. This would be the perfect MacBook for grandma. What else? Then he got into photo editing, which I'm surprised he gave it a B- for photo editing.
Yeah, I would not. I would. Even the yearbook students at my school have MacBook Airs for photo editing.
Well, they didn't even have the MacBook. The MacBook Neo didn't even exist yet, so
yeah, but I mean,
we have yet to see.
Like, I would not get. Like, I would never use a MacBook. Like, most photo editors I see have at least a MacBook Neo, or no, a MacBook Air. Excuse me.
Well, the only reason why he gave the MacBook Neo a B- primarily had to do with the display not being as color accurate as the rest of Apple's lineup. But other than that, he said the performance was actually there. The only thing that was docking it is just the display's color accuracy, which for professionals that matters more. But I don't think your yearbook club is that professional of photographers.
I mean, actually, they do use kind of expensive cameras. Like, I'm talking like they do use like 4-figure cameras. So the yearbook club is relatively, the yearbook team is relatively, so they are a lot more professional grade than you might think. Especially when it comes to...
Nonetheless, it did get a B- for that. He actually gave it a B for coding. And it's because while you're not doing like major app development, to start learning how to code, macOS is one of the best platforms to have for it. And now it just got a lot cheaper.
I mean, adding on to your photography, to your photo editing point, I mean, for very basic photo editing, then I think that the MacBook Neo is obviously going to be just fine for it. Like, if it's photo editing you would do on an iPhone, like just little touch-ups here and there, that's fine. But if you do like serious, like professional grade photo editing, then no. But learning how to code, then I would say definitely, because in my coding classroom we have late 2024 Mac Minis in there, which we use because they're obviously the cheapest desktop that Apple sells. But in some of the other coding classes, they have to use their iPad. So yeah, for learning how to code, especially because a lot of introductory code websites like code.org are literally all web based anyway, then it's learning how to code. Yeah, I can totally see the MacBook Neo being great for that. Now, once you get into actual app development, then you're probably going to want MacBook Pro, but...
Yeah, you're going to want actual raw CPU horsepower and memory to be able to do like actual professional app development. But no, for learning or just getting into it, it's actually pretty great at it. So,
which again, that's part K through 12, because in Nevada, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Arkansas, one of the requirements in order to graduate high school is you do have to take at least one coding class, which again ties into education. So
yeah, well, hey, it'll at least be good for that. But and then I was surprised. Well, okay, I should bring up music production. I personally would not recommend this for music production at all. Primarily for when you do music production, you have a crap ton of wires, and therefore you need a crap ton of
Oh,
I/O.
yeah.
And MacBooks do not have that. Even if you go the route of docking it, the point, you're not going to be producing music on the go because, again, it involves a ton of wires and all of that. And the I/O capabilities on the MacBook Neo, not it. So I personally would not recommend that at all for music production. I would especially too for music production, if you're doing really advanced music production. Well, okay, maybe it doesn't have to be really advanced, but it is a bit memory dependent. Depending on how many music tracks you have open in Logic, or I guess GarageBand would be more appropriate for this type of laptop, but the more music tracks you have in for more vocal parts, more instruments, the more memory you're hogging up. So there's that too. But so I wouldn't recommend it for that, though. Marquez gave it a C for music production. Again, I would not as a music producer myself, but he gave it that. Though I'm surprised what he gave video editing. I thought this was probably going to be like an F.
Isn't Marquez? To be fair, Marquez doesn't produce the music, right?
He does have people on his team that work with audio, though.
That's true.
So he has plenty of people to give proper opinions on that type of matter, but I'm shocked of what he ranked it for video edit. I expected it to be F. Like, if you plan on like legit editing videos a lot on this device, do not get it. But he gave it a D plus.
To be perfectly honest, I can get why I gave it a D, since I mean I used to edit YouTube on my. Hang on, let me grab it. I used to edit YouTube on all my YouTube videos on This is a very big stack of iPhones, but I used to edit all my YouTube videos on my iPhone 11 Pro Max, and some of them on my iPhone 8 Plus beforehand. So I mean, I'm not, and of course the MacBook Neo is more powerful than them. So I'm not. So if you're just going to be doing very basic iMovie editing, then I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, it can handle it. So I mean, granted, if you're going to actually be doing serious video editing, then I highly recommend MacBook Pro. But
yeah, I mean, it's the reason why I'm getting it's the same reason I'm getting rid of my iMac. It's just I found, for how many videos I make and for how I'm editing, it is not capable of handling it for some reason. I think I finally found out the answer as to why it is struggling so much.
Why is it?
I have 6 less GPU cores in this thing compared to my MacBook Pro.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm guessing Apple's optimized a lot of Final Cut in particular for the more GPU cores, the better performance.
I mean, it makes sense given that video is literally a form of graphics, so...
Yeah. But I mean, I will agree, yes, you can... To say the MacBook Neo cannot edit videos is a lie. It can. It's just, I would not buy that with the anticipation of editing videos on a regular basis.
Yes. Yeah, the only...
If you do plan on doing it on a regular basis, forget it.
Just edit videos on your phone at that point.
Because there's a bunch of reasons why I would not recommend it for editing on a regular basis. For one, you can only get up to 512 gigs of storage, which I at least have found that as a chokehold for many of my projects.
Especially in Final Cut Pro, but even in iMovie that can be a chokehold.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the storage is a limitation, which means you're going to have to edit off of drives if you really want to do anything
And
serious.
the UI and the ports are
The
way
I/O
too
is
slow
not-
for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's USB 10 gig, which isn't that bad, but the one that is USB 3. It is USB 10 gig, but it's still limited I/O, basically. That's what it boils down to. 8 gigs of memory, as efficient as macOS is, you are very much likely going to be going into memory swap territory. And the SSD speeds are not as fast as higher end MacBooks. So there's that too. And then there's the obvious raw horsepower for rendering and exporting, but I mean that's an obvious given. But yeah, no, to say it can't edit videos, that's a lie. It can, but it was not designed to do it. It's like trying to take it's like trying to take a Rolls Royce to a track. Can you do it? Sure. Is it going to be a good idea? Absolutely not.
That's probably I would say it's like taking a Chevy Impala to a track. That's probably a better example.
Well, if you get an old Chevy Impala with a completely failed suspension, kind of like Red Fox, for example, just Red Fox was the Buick equivalent. Whoo, is she fun to send around corners?
Okay, I guess I should say it's like sending a Chevy Trax to a track, or no, wait, a GMC Terrain to a track. That's a better example.
That would be a better example, yes. Can it drive on a track? Sure, absolutely. Are you very highly likely to flip that thing over? Also true. It was not made for it. Yeah, or taking here's another great example. Or taking a Porsche 911 to Hell's Revenge in Utah. That's an off-road course for your information.
The 911 is designed for tracks, I believe.
Yeah, 911's more meant for the track, not out in the middle of nowhere, Utah, in the canyons. So that's effectively why. That's effectively where the MacBook Neo is. Can it edit videos? Yes, but should you? No. I'd recommend, if you're doing it on a regular basis, bare minimum, at least go for the MacBook Air. But even then, MacBook Pro is probably still going to be the best, because that actually has proper video encoders integrated into the silicon, which makes it way faster and causes you to drop a heck of a lot less frames when you're trying to edit or record stuff like what OBS is doing right now. What's it? Oh my god. Still not even doing 30. I have it set to record 60 actually, but we're not even doing 30 FPS in OBS right now.
It did, luckily, I have noticed that's not the too noticeable in post, but at the same time.
If I recall, you can get footage down to 24 frames per second before it really starts to look like a problem. And we're averaging at around 21, 22 FPS right now. So we're a touch below that. But when I tried screen recording, me editing a video on the iMac, I was at like 8 or 9 FPS. It was terrible. And my monitors couldn't even do 60. I don't even think they did 30. They dropped down to like 25, maybe. 25 hertz. That's not good. So, yeah, I'm going to end up, in case I didn't bring it up last time,
You
but I'm pretty
did.
sure I am. I'm going to end up selling the iMac. I've officially written the script to review it. I just have to actually record the video and then edit it. And then once that's done, I'll get it listed on Marketplace, eBay, Swappa, just do anything I can to get it out of here, because honestly, I could use the cash more than I could use the computer itself at this point. And I'll just be going back to docking this thing to my 32-inch monitors.
Yeah, it's probably a far better. Honestly, I think that's a far better idea anyway. We've gone into that in other episodes. But yeah, we're still out of topics.
Computer though. Yeah. Still out of topics, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna get this thing to glitch out. It has not glitched out in the past few weeks. I've been booting it on just to see if it glitches out on camera, but no, the GPU or whatever is going on in here, it's deciding to output display and not do its weird fuzzy thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, it's because we're trying to show it. It's not doing it.
Yeah. Come on, PC. Come on, Windows? Why don't you pull Windows right now?
So at this point, Alpha and I basically just talked about a bunch of personal stuff that you will eventually know later on. It's about a secret project, so that is why the podcast is seemingly abruptly ending. All right, well, as always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Tammy Acker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
As always, we're saying peace out for now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone.